All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am super excited once again to be here. I know everybody will know that. Why is this guy always excited? I am excited. I'm super excited. I hope you are excited to be here. Yesterday was super. Yesterday was epic. Yesterday was glorious. All right. I am so much excited about today again because we are going to look at another cost of success. My name is Olafisoye John Ige, and I am watching. Am I watching now from Nigeria? So wherever you're watching from, if you're already on this particular event, I want you to use the comment box. Let me know your name and where you're watching from. Whether you're watching from Japan, just like my guest today, or whether you're watching from the United Kingdom, whether you're watching from the United States. All right, wherever you're watching from, kindly let me know where you're watching from. I am so much excited doing this. I'm so much excited that for as many of us that will be with me here for the next 6 days. All right, we are going to experience sporadic growth. We are going to experience great success, or let me call it what I termed the 5 episode series pre-conference event we did, as you are going to have what I called the good success. What I call the good success. And interestingly, we've identified 7 costs of success, and we've invited 7 speakers to speak on each of these costs. And today we'll be having something super. Something super. I hope you're excited and you are ready for something super. I personally am excited. I'm eager to learn. I'm always eager to learn. For as many of us that have been following us here, you will know that one of the emphasis is continuous learning. Continuous learning. I want to take a deep dive. All right. Take a deep dive into the world of AI and technology, looking at it as a cost of success, or better still, should I say that as the future of success. And I have my guest already. I know some of you must have, heard me say it again and again that my guest will be speaking directly from Japan, and I'm so much excited, especially for his commitment. Right now, people and they are sleeping. All right, they are not like we engineers that will work 24/7. So, but his commitment is something that I am so much excited about, and I really do appreciate him for being here. Now, let me introduce you to my guest. All right, let me introduce you to my guest. My guest for today is Abayomi Olawumi. Abayomi Olawumi is a data scientist and engineer with first and second degree in electrical and electronics engineering from the Federal University of Technology, Akure, with over 5 years of experience in training, development, and research. He excelled in building data pipelines and machine learning models for different systems. He is presently a graduate student at Yokohama. Right, I don't want to murder that name. Yokohama National University, Japan, where he uses optimization techniques to build energy system models. In addition to his work as a researcher, Abayomi is a faculty member at Beyond Arts Learning, where he gives professional guidance to AI enthusiasts on the use of Python programming language as an implementation tools. If you are with me on this particular event, I want you to join me as I welcome my guest, Mr. Abayomi Olawumi. Oga Abayo, how are you, sir?
Um, I'm very, very fine. Thank you very much for the privilege to share, and then thank you for the introduction. So glad to be here.
Thank you so much. So, how is Japan currently? What time are you? What time is it in Japan right now?
Uh, interestingly, it's presently 2:10 a.m. Wednesday, so we're already on the Wednesday, but it's 2 a.m.
Right.
in the morning.
Oh, that's interesting. Somebody asked the question. He said, if Japan is ahead of Nigeria, can they tell us the future?
Uh,
So can you tell us what is going to happen 2 a.m. tomorrow?
Uh, yes. So maybe I would say Jesus has not come 2 a.m. when there's day in Japan.
Oh
That's very
goodness.
funny. Yeah, I was just saying that sometimes also like I also wish I could just run back to Nigerian time, to catch up with so much deadlines and
Hmm.
just the
Right,
beauty
right,
of
right.
nature.
True, 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 true. Thank you so much, sir. And I'm super excited. I want to say a big thank you for being here again, sir. Thank you so much. I'm always excited.
Thank you once again, and, bro Ige. Thank you very much. It's a privilege once again. I do not take this for granted. I love learning so much, and then whenever I have opportunity to share what I've known, I do not take it for granted. There is a there is a technique called Feynman's technique. It's a very powerful technique. I haven't acquired the knowledge. Um, it's important that we get to a point where we pass the knowledge, because that's a proof that you've truly understood what you've read. So whenever I get an opportunity to share knowledge, I see it as a very good opportunity. So today we'll be talking about AI, and I'll be introducing myself, firstly, and saying one or two things about myself. Then we launch into what we have. So, bro, John already introduced me. So, Abayomi Olawumi. So, I'm a data scientist. I'm a trainer and I'm a researcher also. Um, you may be surprised. Okay, data scientist is talking about AI. So, I prefer um, to be called a data scientist because it helps me play around so many things. So I use a good number of tools for my day-to-day task. The likes of Python, I use Excel, I use Bash, I use Moselle, I use SQL. And then rightly said from the introduction, I had my first and second degrees in electrical and electronics engineering, and then I developed special interest in programming um, since my 100 level days on campus. So altogether, that's about 11 years experience. And then I also love passing knowledge, like I rightly said. So in terms of teaching experience, I also have 8 years teaching experience. And so I want to promise, and I will trust God to stay put and avoid speaking over our head. That is, I will try so much to avoid using so many AI jargons that we might not maybe like understand. So, and in case I use a word you are not too familiar with, you can do well to take note of that during the question and answer section. So, my story, then why data? I studied electrical electronics engineering. Why data? So at some point in my career, I was majorly doing web development, app development. At the time, I was doing desktop development. But then I developed special interest in learning. Okay, so my story. So at the time, I developed much more interest in research, and then I sought for a niche that would be very, very sustainable, that can be applied across um, all fields, that will help me stay relevant in research and also in development. And then I found data. And then that period, I already have an insight that the oil of the generation to come is data. So that was my motivation for going into data as a career. So, I would like to tell us one or two things as we progress. So, the first question we have is, what is the hype about? Like, what is the hype about AI, about data, and all that? So, I will try to be um, very, very basic as much as possible. So, I don't want to assume we all know what data is. In fact, to be very, very raw, to be as raw as much as possible, you know, maybe the our of first understanding of data may actually be maybe MTN data. Yeah. So, but I think by reason of education and exposure, we got to understand that data is more than just megabytes that MTN gives us and all that. So, what is data? Where do we get data from? So, I can tell you, as I'm speaking data. As you are sitting, it's data. Data is everywhere. It's like information being collected, and information about anything can be collected in any form. So for instance, you may build a device to collect certain parameters, maybe to collect humidity. Those are data. So like you spend 5 minutes on Facebook, you're just scrolling. That your activity on Facebook is actually data. As you are clicking on a button, as you are liking, those are data, you know. And in fact, these days, even when you don't do anything, data are being collected. Yeah. So data takes different form. However, there is data is majorly divided into two. We have structured and unstructured data. Um, when a data is structured, is in a tabular form. Is in a tabular form. You have it in the rows and column format, and then when you have it unstructured, it's not in a structured manner. So, and then I already mentioned about data collection. Then what is AI? So till now, I think for some of us, you still okay, AI. What's AI? Then I also hear machine learning. What's the difference? What's machine learning? So now, when you have this abundant data that speaks about something, when it's now being used to maybe develop model, maybe develop a prediction system, maybe used to classify, you know, maybe used to do all sorts of things, such that we used to define computer as garbage in, garbage out, such that the intelligent human has, you know, we can begin to train the computer to move close to the intelligence of men. And so that's what we do when we move from data to AI. So when you don't have data, there's nothing like AI, because computer in itself can never be intelligent. It needs data. So let me take for instance, if I ask you, okay, what do you like eating? You might likely tell me you like eating rice. The reason why you are able to tell me you like eating rice is because your tongue has tasted a good number of foods. There is a data up there in your memory. So without data, you can never talk about intelligence. So we can separate data from AI. So then there is a subtle confusion between machine learning and artificial intelligence. So artificial, you can't talk about artificial intelligence without talking about machine learning. So there are models. So maybe we are developing supervised learning model or unsupervised learning model, or we are even doing generative AI. So these are machine learning, but the whole subject in itself is artificial intelligence. I'm teaching this computer, I'm teaching the system to be intelligent, to drive its intelligence close to human intelligence. So then why the whole AI race? Everyone wants to integrate AI into their system. You go to the hotels, you go to this, you go to that, AI here, AI there. It's because of the productivity, the uh, the returns, the ease that comes with integrating AI to systems, and so there's so much fear of AI taking up jobs. So this I'm doing to introduce to us where we started from. There was a point where we there was not any kind of attention being given to data. You know, got to a point where, oh, you can maximize data to develop models. And now we are driving towards, let's make the computer more intelligent. Let's drive its intelligence close to human intelligence. And that's what we have in when we talk about AI. So there are different applications of AI. There are different applications of AI. You can have its application in military, education, construction, gaming, banking. We have it all around us. And so today we'll be touching two major subjects. So the first one is how to harness AI for personal and professional growth. And then the second one is how to venture into AI as a career path. So I'll be starting with the first one, which is harnessing AI for personal and professional growth. I won't spend much time here because a good number of things we should maybe like possibly talk about. They we can find them online actually. So, but I'll do all to introduce the large extent. So, today, if you've been running from AI, you can't afford AI as it is because it's either you learn or you get kicked off out of the system. So you have to find a way to adjust to the new normal. Let me put it that way. You have to find a way to adjust to the new normal. So look at what you are doing today. How and where can AI be integrated? And at what point, at what junction can I bring AI to what I'm doing to make it more effective? So, and we'll first be talking about the various ways AI can come in to make our work quite easier. So, for instance, task automation. There was an experience I had last week. I there's an app I use for currency conversion, and then I had an issue on the app, and then I tried to contact their staff, and then I was actually conversing with an AI, like I was conversing with a chatbot. But then I could smell that I'm not chatting with an human, like. But then I asked some questions, and it gave me some responses. And then so maybe in 10 years ago, like maybe 10 years ago, they would have possibly hired a staff, to manage communication with clients. But now you have chatbots doing it. You don't need to pay chatbots salary. You can just automate the task. So that's one way. So just think about what you're doing today. Can I bring in automation into what I'm doing today? And if I bring in automation, it's going to be better, or like, so you have to do your scale of preference and opportunity cost and all that. Then workflow optimization. So on a very lighter note, so there are a good number of restaurants here where I stay that you go, and humans don't attend to you, robots attend to you. They come to serve you food. So instead of employing staffs to do that, you have robots. So like carrying out the whole workflow. Then also decision support. You know, there were days when you have people sit down with the system. They're doing forex. You're trying to buy and sell currency, and now I've seen a case where people have bots that does trading for them, buy and sell. So you don't need to sit down with the system to buy and sell currency. So you can forecast. Also enhancing creativity and innovation. A good number of us, maybe we are much more familiar with chat gpt. So in fact, if you ask anyone AI, some might even define the whole AI as ChatGPT because that's what we've been quite familiar with. So for your content creation, you can, maybe you are to come up with a write-up, you can decide to maybe use ChatGPT. So I always encourage people, use the AI tool rightly. There's a way you can use it wrongly. I will still talk about that towards the end of today's talk. There's a way you can use the AI, and then you may lose your critical thinking ability. You have to be very, very sensitive. So use it to your advantage. You have to use the AI to your advantage. So you want to create content, you want to do write up, you want to do research and development, you can use tools like ChatGPT. So I will also still later introduce some tools we can actually use to enhance our work. So then I'll be talking about generative AI. Like I promised, I won't be speaking over our head. I will try as much as possible to explain this. So, the AI most people are actually familiar with is the generative AI. But there was an AI before generative AI. In fact, generative AI is just a branch of artificial intelligence. So we have supervised learning, we have unsupervised learning, we have reinforcement learning. They all have their methods. They all have their methods, but because of this the so much acceptability of ChatGPT, what many people have become familiar with is generative AI. So, but that's not all about AI. So, but let's talk about the generative AI. So, generative AI is an AI that can generate text, image, video, or other data using generative methods. So, I want to in this case, I'm not predicting, I'm not forecasting, and I'm not classifying. I want to generate something new. Like, it's as if you are telling me, "Oh, Abayomi, can you sing a song for me?" So I don't know if you can try to understand where we are trying to take the computer to. We are driving it towards the intelligence of human. So imagine telling me, can you say something? Can you dance? Yeah, we are trying to take the computer to that spot. So that is generative AI. And so what it's been done actually is, I've talked about the different ways we get data. I said by strolling, your data is being collected, by liking, by data is being collected. Data is everywhere. Even as I'm speaking to you, data is being collected. So let me even give a very funny experience. So we are using a software now, for this podcast. So the software belongs to a company. They are allowing us use their service, but at the back end they may be using this particular video to optimize their system, trying to get what I'm saying, translating what I'm saying, train a model using what I'm saying. Then maybe tomorrow make a recommendation to me. Maybe in this video I say something about chocolate, then tomorrow in my email I begin to receive suggestions about chocolate or something. So data is being collected in whatever way, whatever means, and all that. So for the generative AI, as we have it on the slide, um, we can have text generation where you are generating text. So I was talking about text to text transfer transformer. Um, so there are different models to carrying that out. So I have them on the slide. So some, like, for a good number of us, we may not understand some of the stuffs you have here, but I'm just going to explain some few things that's quite relevant to us. So we also have image generation, so you can generate image, just like just type a text. I want you to generate an image of someone do this, doing that. Then you have the AI generate a new and unique image for you. You can have a generative AI that you has to like give you sing music for you. Maybe just the write up. Oh, I'm lonely. Can you sing a song for me that will make me sleep? You can have stuff like that. Then we have video generation and all that. So, in fact, to the point of in Canva, for those that use Canva and Adobe, there's what they now call Adobe Sensei now. So, it gives you suggestions on, design task. Give you suggestions on design task. So, the word of AI, generative AI, it's going somewhere. It's driving us towards the intelligence of man. Yeah, it's driving us towards the intelligence of man. So for instance, you can see the picture on the slide. You can see the picture of the girl. So that girl was actually generated using AI. Yeah, that girl was generated using AI. So okay, so then I was also talking about test to test transfer transformer. So I have this picture here. This picture is from a lab, and so I want us to imagine how um, model is being trained. So from this picture, so you can see T5. So you can see the pre-training. Okay, let me turn on my um, if I can get him my Lisa. Oh, okay. I don't think I can get my Lisa. Okay, I can't get my Lisa. So now, so the first word, President Franklin M. born January 1882, being fed into the T5 model. You have another word being fed into the T5 model. So you have like six sentences fed into that T5 model. Now, if you take that T5 model now, after training it, then you just come with a question: when was Franklin D. Roosevelt born? So from the training that has happened, then you have the output 1882. So that's how the T5 test to test transformer actually works. So this is just what usually happens. So it's the whole thing about AI. It's not witchcraft. It's mathematics. It can be proven. It can be explained. It can be explained. So I took time to get out some tools, because if in this podcast we won't be able to, we can't experiment all the available AI tools out there. So I have on my screen a list of AI tools. So from credits to a guy named Vaibhash Idao. So he's an Indian. So it took time to get a good number of many of the existing AI tools out there. But just as a good number of them, you may have to maybe pay for you to have access to some services. So you have some that you can create automatic faceless video. You can create video from a test. I attempted one in the afternoon. Like I just told him, okay, create a short video regarding Python, and then it's created the video. So, but then for me to download the video, it was requesting I upgrade my account that I needed to pay. So, but these things are real. So you can turn text to video. You can ask for many of these tools out there. So if you want to have the list of these tools, so you can do well to visit the link you can see on the screen. You can visit the link on the screen to see more of those tools. So this is a screenshot of what I was playing with then. So you have this was the video output actually. So it's very interesting, but I needed to like upgrade to get that. So then I also have the list of some other AI tools out there. So many of them out there, but then they are applications, But what goes on underneath them? You may just use them to optimize your business, optimize what you do, but we'll talk about the second half of it. For as many that are here today that are interested in, you want to actually understand what goes on. Like I want to be able to develop my own, I want to make meaningful contribution. I don't just want to use ChatGPT, I want to build my own AI model and all that. So we'll be talking about that um henceforth. So um venturing into AI as a career path. So at this point now, we are not just talking about how you can, use AI to um, to automate what you're doing, to optimize the work you do. But now we're talking about how to venture into AI as a career, which I think I really want to speak about. So if we talk about AI, there's a language which I strongly and always recommend for anyone. Yeah. And the language is Python. So um definitely I was not the one who wrote the language. So but then you can't talk about AI and not talk about Python. So Python is a programming language, was written by the guy called Guido van Rossum in 1991. And then since inception, the language has been climbing up the ladder. In fact, in 2023, in the list of the programming languages that was most used, among developers in the world, you have Python sitting on number 3. Then you have JavaScript and HTML, CSS sitting on the first two. So you have about 49.28% of developers uses Python for one thing or the other. And then we have on the the second chart on the left, the second chart on the right hand side, you know, looking at the growth of major programming languages, you can see the growth of Python over the years from 2012 to 2018. There's so much, like the growth, very fast, very fast compared to other languages. You can see a drop in PHP and all that. So what are the things you can use Python for? So aside from AI, which is our subject, you can use the Python programming language for, you can use it to automate your task. You can develop machine learning models, and you can carry out data science. So like I said, you can't talk about AI without talking about data science, without talking about machine learning. So don't get too carried away by the word AI. They are sitting on the concept of data science and machine learning. They are sitting on the concept of several mathematical models. They are sitting on the concept of several statistical models. So it's very fundamental you have this understanding. So, but then a strong recommendation is a Python programming language. And then this is just me sharing. So, personally, I've used Python, I think, in the last 1 year to carry out a good number of projects. So there was a time I opened my desktop, and then I realized it's a concern. You download this file, it's sitting on your desktop. The file may sit on your desktop for a long time, and then your desktop gets very crowded. So it's okay. Why can't I use Python to automate my task? So I just wrote a script that automatically clean. It doesn't delete, but automatically moves folder from my desktop to a different folder. So I use Python for that, pure Python. So then also use Python to develop a glaucoma detection system. So it's an image processing problem, then an emotion detection system, calorie estimation. So like from the picture of food, you can know the calorie of that particular food. Then sentiment analysis, audio denoising. So when you have audio, then I develop model to remove the noise in that particular audio signal. Then phishing attack detection, and then there was analytics work I've done and all that. So this and this you can do with Python. So when you talk about the whole AI of a thing, so many of the things I mentioned, they are actually some of the applications you find out there. But just that people integrate it with, maybe they integrate it with their websites, they integrate it with the mobile app, they integrate it with robots, integrate it with machineries, but they sit on these fundamentals. So some of other recent projects I did, okay, this was the scripting I was talking about. So you can see my desktop before, my desktop after. So I just wrote the automation, okay, automatically clean my desktop. So move it to this folder, and then the right hand side is looking, cleaner than the left hand side. So you can do some analytics actually with Python. So some of the pictures, not pictures, the figures you are seeing on the screen, they've actually plotted using Python purely. So you see the horizontal bar chart, you see the table, then also you can see a clustering result and all that. So you can use Python to implement fully. You can use Python to implement end to end. Um, okay, so you can use Python to implement end to end a complete system from beginning to the end. So there are other important tools in data science. So I've strongly preached Python to us. So there are other important tools that is very important if you're trying to pick a career in AI. So the SQL, we have SQL, we have Power BI, we have Excel, we have Tableau. Many of us are familiar with Excel. So SQL is a structured query language. So when you have your data in a tabular form represented in rows and columns, and then you have them in that table format, and then you have a database that has several tables, and then you're learning how to manage the data in that particular database. So when you have such structured data, you need language like SQL to manage them. So maybe, for instance, you as a data scientist, or as a machine learning engineer, or whatever, any career in data, you have course to work with a server. You may be asked to pull out this data, then analyze it, then they give you an address to a cloud server. You need your skill of SQL. Then we have the Power BI. So Power BI was created by Microsoft. So majorly to visualize and analyze data with greater speed. So maybe you want to just quickly do a fast analytics, then you want your visualization out. You don't have time for writing code. So then you can use your Power BI in such situation. There many of us are familiar with Excel. So Excel is another very powerful tool that I want to strongly encourage that we take time to also learn. If you're trying to pick a career in data, so take time to learn Excel. In fact, recently you can now write Python in Excel. I don't know if so many of us are hearing that for the first time. You can write Python programming language inside your Excel. Those spaces where you put number, you press tab, you can write Python there. So if you are using the most recent version of Microsoft, you can now write Python in Excel. And for me personally, in the last 1 year, I've used Excel more than I've ever used Excel. And I see many things I never knew about Excel, and I see many powerful things Excel can do. So, um, if you've learned Excel before, maybe this may be a good time to go back to it and brush up. So, then also we have Tableau. So, Tableau is just like a sister of Power BI, also majorly used for visualization. So, yeah, majorly used for visualization. So, I'll move on. So, I would like to talk about popular complaints and questions. So, we've talked about, so I'm trying to take us on a very interesting journey. So, we've talked about what data is, the relationship between data and AI, what led us to talking about AI. We want to drive our system towards human intelligence, and then we've talked about the various way data that have been collected. Then we've talked about how we can integrate it with what we are doing, maybe through task automation and all that. Then I started talking about venturing into AI as a career, and then I preached Python to us. I told us how powerful Python is, and then I showed us some of the projects I did purely using Python, and then I just talked about some interesting tools you also need to learn also. So some popular complaints and questions about starting a career with AI. Okay, questions like how and where can I start? Okay, I don't have programming experience. Okay, I don't like mathematics. Okay, how long will it take for me to become a pro? Okay, I once tried, but it didn't work out. Okay, so let me start with how and where can I start. So I will firstly want to say that everything comes with a price. Everything comes with a price. So it's I will share with us a learning track. Everything comes with a price. So first you need to, if you don't know where you are, you don't know if you don't know where you are and you only know your destination, you are most likely you may not know even how you're going to get out of where you are. So first, you need to first identify where you are. Where are you? So what do you know? What have you learned before? What understanding do you have now? Okay, I don't have any programming experience. Where can I start from? Okay, I need programming experience. Okay, can I use book? Do I need to enroll for a course and all that? Start from that point. So one thing you shouldn't do is don't compare your maybe, oh, this person started and learn it in just 2 years. Oh, someone, you see, I'm on YouTube. Oh, I learned Python in just 7 days or something like that. So many of them have different backgrounds. Some have programming backgrounds. You don't have programming background, so you may need to take more time than others. So if you don't have programming experience, no problem. You know, there was a scenario that came to my came to my understanding, and I was asking someone. I remember when we were in school then, among our colleagues then, even when we were in 500 level on campus, if you okay, who are the people who like programming languages in our class then? Maybe we were just three. The rest will say, oh, programming is very difficult. Very difficult. In fact, a good number of my colleagues then tend not to do well. They can be very, very brilliant on other courses, but tend not to do well when it comes to programming language. And then this is 2024. I can tell you clearly that about 80% of my colleagues now know how to program. They now work, many of them work um, in a programming company, about 80% of them. Then I ask myself, what has changed? What has changed? When we want to tempt it and when we want to say, oh, maybe the education system was not okay. But I won't say that. What I would say has changed is the fact that now it's obvious to a good number of people that okay, you need to know a lot of IT skills, to thrive out there. When survival came into the picture, you know, the barrier of the mind, gets shattered. Like you got shattered. So that means there's a barrier in the mind. There's a mindset. So there's a mindset a good number of people already have about programming language. And then when they carry that mindset to learn, definitely, if I'm saying it's difficult, definitely when I approach it, it's going to be difficult. So I don't like mathematics. Well, actually, if you tell me if I like reading, I don't like reading. But in the course of reading, I developed interest in reading. I fell more in love with reading. But from onset, it's boring. Like reading and reading. But to get to a point where I develop interest in reading. So I think we can discipline ourselves, on whatever course we want to achieve. So then how long will it take to become a pro? So it varies actually. So it depends on where you are. It depends on where you are. Then I once tried, but it did not work out. Try again, then try another method. Try again and try another method. So popular roadmap. Popular roadmap if you want to you're looking at developing a career in AI, in machine learning or whatsoever. So I'll be very, very frank with us. So it's a marathon journey. On a very sincere note, it's a marathon journey. So you may acquire some skills at a particular time, but you need to keep topping it up. Like for instance, okay, if you say, okay, buy me no AI, this one, that one. I didn't just arrive at that point, maybe in just 1 year or in 2 years. It's accumulation of many bits, and then like everything then came together to become something we can now say. So now, if you're learning Python as okay, I don't know what Python is. So if you can discipline yourself, I tell you, averagely in 8 months, you can be very fluent in Python. So it's just like you're learning a new language actually. Imagine you find yourself these are the scenarios I usually paint for myself, and it helps me discipline myself. Imagine you find yourself in Chinese and you are told there's no way you can go back to Nigeria, to any English speaking country, and then you have to survive in China. So you have to learn the language. So to eat, to do this, you have to learn the language. I tell you, you're going to learn the language. So the same thing with Python, you're just trying to learn how to speak a language. And thanks to God, it's written in English, not Chinese. So in 8 months and with serious discipline, I believe anyone can finish up understanding Python. So then also you will need to know a good number of things in mathematics and statistics. So for instance, personally, I do not have any background in statistics. I do not. But at some point, while I was reading up some of the machine learning models, some things will be said that will force me to go and watch some material to and watch a particular theorem on YouTube. Then I sit down with it. Then I begin to work it out. Although I do not have statistics background. So at some point, you will need that background because in the course of so many of the AI, it has to do with probability, it has to do with hypothesis testing and all that. So you are not just working towards becoming a programmer. You want to understand the science, you want to understand the mathematics behind some of this model. Then also DB know-how. So there are several database systems out there. You have MySQL, you have MongoDB, so many database systems there out there. So database systems is just like a house where you have the data stored. So you need to also understand how to communicate. You don't know how to, it's just as if like you don't know how to get the product out of the container, and you want to prepare a very delicious meal. So it's important you know how to get the product out of the container before you can prepare delicious meal. So you need to understand, some database systems. Maybe you understand SQL, you pick Progress SQL, and you understand how to communicate with the Progress SQL. Then also machine learning. So machine learning, it's there are several branches. You talk about supervised learning, you talk about unsupervised learning, you talk about reinforcement learning, and then we are now talking about generative AI these days. So they all have their different technologies and they are different models. So you need to understand. So the way you approach a prediction task is different from the way you approach a detection task. So maybe for instance, for some of the example I said, I mean like you're trying to do emotion detection. You want to develop a model that detects someone's emotion. It's different from the way you approach. I'm trying to forecast what the price of oil will be in 10 years time. So you need to understand the different technologies, the different principles behind this model. So it may take you about 2.5 years. So then also the idea of big data now, have come in because now everyone is trying to harvest data. So just like what I said the other time, like as we are doing this video, we are live on YouTube. Yeah, we don't know the data YouTube is actually collecting actually. Like maybe they are collecting my word as we are speaking and they are converting it to text, and they are checking my email, and they are looking at the words I've said like 20 times, and then I get an email tomorrow suggesting that thing to me. So they'll try to collect as much data, as many data as much as possible. So and then so because they are collecting a lot of data, because everything is important now. Any form of data is useful now. So we now have big data, and now there are now systems, Hadoop and all that, that are used to manage this data. When there are so much of them, they need to be managed. So we have to now talk of big data. So personally, I think the best and the first part to start with, just pick Python. It may take time, but then I believe you can do it. So on a closing note, my mantra. So all we do in AI. So let's be God fearing. Yeah. So then integrity, excellence, and growth. So never stop learning. Yeah, I want to emphasize on that. Never stop learning, because the world is evolving. The world is evolving. So, many of the things AI does today, if a prophet has risen up in year 2000 and said this will happen in 2024, would have called such prophet a prophet of doom. So it's important that as people we should have insight, we should have foresight. Very, very important. Personally, there was a time, and I think it's a wisdom I think God through the scripture gave me at the time. From the book of Proverbs, the scripture says, go to the ants and learn, who in summer prepare, gathers his food. In summer, gathers his food. So that means God puts seasons in place, and then there is a particular animal who is very proactive. When we have it plenty, do well to gather a lot. So as the world is evolving, it's very important we have foresight. So now for me personally, many people are doing programming these days, this and that. Then I ask myself, what will be the case in 50, 60 years time. So, and then how can I prepare for the world to come? So it's very, very important. So as AI is evolving, and maybe a good number of people are scared of AI taking up their jobs and all that. um, I want to encourage us, do well to have insight, do well to have foresight as you are learning. Don't just be rigid, have foresight and prepare for the future. It's a wisdom. So thank you very much for the time. I must have said a lot of jargons, which I believe some of us here might not maybe like understand. Uh, but then, if you decide to maybe pick a career, maybe later on you get to understand some of the jargons. So, thank you very much, and I appreciate the privilege once again. So, if there is any question, I will be available to answer. So, I hand it over to my brother.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I mean, I think finally I already know which career path I want to choose now. So people that will be hearing me will say, "Oh God, stay one please." But really, thank you so much. This is, a very comprehensive presentation on AI and technology as its impact, as sources. AI and technology as it impacts as sources. And you see, one thing I am really happy about is how you know, grouped it, right? Some of us, I think I was in an event sometimes ago, and the speaker then was talking about some of us will use AI, and some are building the AI we are using, and that there is a talent gap. The global talent is less when it comes to those people building the AI, all right, compared to those people using the AI. And I'm really happy that you've gone extensively on this particular subject. And for as many as are looking, maybe there are parents here that are looking at, okay, which career path should their child venture into? All right, instead of nursing, engineering, and I mean, respectfully speaking, those career paths are also okay, right? But I think looking at AI and technology as the future of success is also very important in this generation. All right, once again, Mr. Abayomi, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are so much excited for this communication. I have some questions already with me here, but again, if you have any question for Mr. Abayomi, please put it on the comment box. I'm going to, read it out. If you have any question, please put it on the comment box, and I'm going to read it out. So the first question I have here, um, let me display it. It says, "What future trends do you foresee in AI and technology that businesses should be aware of?" You mentioned that if what AI is doing now, if it was said maybe 10, 20 years ago, such a person will have been called maybe a false prophet. All right. So, what do you think people in this age and this time should foresee or should expect to come as a result of AI and technology, especially for businesses or organizations generally,
Hmm,
and also
I,
for individuals?
hmm, I think my response will be, maybe my response may sound like an heresy, but it's it's that's what will happen actually. So we are driving towards um, the replication of what we can do actually. Like we are driving towards anything that any man can do now. Um, AI is being driven in that direction. So anything we can think anyone is doing in any organization, um, in little or in a very short time, anytime soon, there's a replacement coming. So some uh, let me say maybe like in some part of the world, things have gone like very wide. Like I was mentioning the other time, like a good number of restaurants here. You go there, you just find only one staff. Very big restaurant. The other staffs are robots. The robot comes to serve you. The robot comes to pick up the plate. That's restaurant. Then maybe you go to, even in governance, like getting to employ 90 staffs in a company, all that will be reducing. So, but this is my most recent um, advice, um, is for people to go professional. So where AI is going now, we get to a point where the world we need professionals. So in whatsoever, those are in any career. I don't, maybe there's a medical doctor listening to us. Go as professional, as deep as much as possible, because any mundane task, any straightforward, you find the AI doing. So anything we can think any man can do now, like that's where I see AI going in the nearest future. So look at what anybody is doing in your business. That thing, there is an AI that can solve that problem. So, like for instance, if you look at maybe you are doing video editing today now, like you don't need to employ um, a video editor or a graphics person anymore. Just write your speech. In fact, your speech should not even be correct. Grammatical error, take it to one AI to correct your
Mhm.
grammatical error for you. Take it to another AI to generate the video. Take it to another AI to generate the audio. Bring the audio, bring the video, bring it together. The generator complete. So whatever anybody can do in any system, whatever any man is doing in your business, think of how AI can replace it. That's what the world is driving to. Thank you very much.
I mean, that's scary. That's scary because you know what, for as many, uh, yeah, that's scary. I design websites, and recently when I work on websites, and I use WordPress, and I will see WordPress, they will put it there now that I should build this website with AI. I say, no, I don't use AI, I use Elementor. Yeah, that will come. They are still asking me whether I should use AI or not, right? They are still asking me, that will come. They won't bother asking me again, right? Anybody, any client that wants to build website, instead of contacting human, just give the website to AI, and AI will come up with something comprehensive. All right, really, that's scary, but I think the next question would, maybe help us with a better perspective on what to do. This person said, how do you envision AI evolving in the next 5 years? And what implication will this have on success? And maybe I should speak concerning this. That what implication do you think AI and technology will have on success as a whole? All right, maybe personal success or professional success. How do you think people can, I mean, basically how to bring AI and technology into success?
Hmm. Okay, so interestingly, so on Sunday, so I will be very personal. So I was in the church, and then we were discussing in the church, and from Bible study we started talking about AI. So we're about four persons that were speaking, and then we have a professor. It was in the church, a professor. Myself, I'm a graduate student. So then we have the third person is working with a car manufacturing company, and then the person working with the car manufacturing company was telling us why people should be taught to quickly integrate and learn how to get, people should get used to AI. train the students, train the young one now, to get used to AI. And then when the professor spoke, when I spoke, then we said what I said during the presentation, that we have to be very careful. So where the world is going on is, um, in terms of productivity, AI will boost productivity. But in terms of personal success, if you have something you do that bring profits to you, for profit's sake, for productivity's sake, it's going to bring success to you. But when it comes to personal success, we have to draw a line, because if we are not careful, we have a generation of zombies. So, you know, our critical thinking ability needs to be developed. You know, in this age now, you have, when you have a child, you quickly give such a child a tablet. That's where AI is going to fast, and all that. Yeah, then we happy our children can operate many of those devices and all that. But it on the other hand, it's doing something to their brain. So in terms of personal sources, I would say we need to be very, very careful. So like I said, I use ChatGPT, but I use ChatGPT intelligently. Intelligently. So because when your critical thinking ability, you're not reading. In fact, you want to read now, there's an AI that will read for you. So they'll say an AI will read for you and summarize for you. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
fast, it's sweet, it's soft. But then what has happened to you as an entity? So AI can boost productivity. So that was the point of our argument in the church on Sunday. So the person in the industry was telling us that the students of this generation should quickly be taught AI and get used to it. While we, as someone in the academic field, we're letting the person understand the effect of this. So there's a balance. There's a balance to it. So the implication on personal success needs wisdom, but the implication on productivity is like speed, like it's a plus. Yeah, it's a plus. In the next 5 years is a it's a plus. So I think very, very important. Thank you so
All
much.
right. I want you to, talk to us about what you meant by using AI, or, the sample you mentioned about ChatGPT intelligently. How can one use it intelligently?
Okay. So imagine now, as a student, I was given an assignment. So now, if I say that you can use ChatGPT, for instance, if I say you can use ChatGPT now as a deeper search for what Google cannot do, then you are using it well. Or maybe as a deeper search to help remove some crumbs, and then, but then when you so much depend so much on it, that it's like you lift it, just as the ChatGPT generates it, you lift it as it is. There is nothing coming from your hand as a form of input. So for instance, personally now, if there is a subject I want to get a deeper search about, I don't use Google, I use ChatGPT. Then it write them all out. What I do is I get another notepad, I read the output, then I write in my own words. It's now, if you translate that to what we do initially traditionally, it's like I just read a book and I'm writing it in my word. It has passed through my brain. But when I lift it as it is, and just like paste it,
Taste
my
it.
brain, the only thing my brain did was to do Control C, Control V, finished. There was no any deposit. So in that kind of application, so but if you are using it for productivity sake, like you want to use it for something that it's not important that there should be a
Critical
deposit
thinking.
that will the pressure on the brain, then we can just use it garbage in, garbage out. But personally, for young people, younger ones, I I think it's not too. safe. Actually, it's not too good for the younger ones because their brain is at the development stage at that point. So I know some of us might be surprised that what I'm saying is coming from me, that I am in the future. So 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 we are all humans. So like, because in fact, recently the whole talk around AI is we need regulation. That's the present problem now. Because if there is no regulation, we are there's a danger ahead. Actually, that's the truth. So like things needs to be regulated. In fact, the application needs to be regulated. So yeah, that balance.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I really hope that for as many of us that we use ChatGPT, we can actually deploy this. You know, there was something I heard sometimes ago, and it has actually worked. I remember somebody was called me, wanted to do work, and he was finding it difficult to do. And he said that he knows that I know how to query ChatGPT quite well. All right, and I think that's another something that a lot of people really do not know. They just put in, I want to do this particular thing, and ChatGPT, just like you've explained to us, will bring out a, should I call it maybe a dummy content, and people will just take that content and not critically analyzing the content and just paste it. So I think so. I heard something sometimes ago about prompt engineering, right? Whereby you can give that AI the right prompts, and that prompt is also helping you to train your own brain. All right, you're not just downloading everything to him and just withdrawing from the AI. But thank you so much for that explanation. And this question too, I also want to give a perspective to this. It says, "Do you believe are essential for the workforce to thrive in an AI driven world?" All right, so I would, of course, you already mentioned some, programming languages that one can learn, and you emphasize strongly on Python. And I saw a comment here um, from Mr. Shidu Adeyeye. He said that I found a tool teaching me Python now, and it's sweet. I think I will need to learn this tool. I will need to get this tool because I remember I had to started Python. I had I had someone in the office recently who said he uses Python. All right, I just remember that I also used to use Python, but Python was born in then. So if the programming language now is sweet, so I think I'm interested in something that is sweet. So, but I want to give a perspective to this particular question. He said,
Hmm.
what skill do you believe are essential for the workforce to thrive in an AI driven world? So I want you to, I already know that you mentioned some programming language that is needed to learn. I also want you to mention, soft skills. All right, hard skills are good, but what other soft skills that do you think are essential for the workspace or for the workforce to thrive in this AI driven world? Over to you, sir.
Hmm. So I think the first thing I will like to say was what I said the other time. So let me state for instance now, like most times, like I do data science, I do but as a researcher, I do optimization techniques in energy system rather. So one advice I will give is that be a professional in that field. As much as tools are evolving, be a professional. Maybe in your workspace they are using AI for this. Be a professional, such that I'm going to be riding on what you said, such that you know the the AI is a slave actually. You just need to learn how to you can enslave it based on your profession. So we are going to get to that point where we need people to validate. We need people to take control of this guy, and then only professionals. Sometimes you query ChatGPT and then it gives you wrong. But there was a time I told the guy, I
That's
said
true.
you are wrong. He said, he said sorry. He said sorry. He said, okay, let me check again. I said you are still wrong. Then I was the one who eventually corrected him, and he now later arrived at my solution because I knew something which the guy does not know. So in whatever field people are, they should be very professional. Understand the in and out. You will survive. You will survive. AI will not take your job. In fact, they will look for you. So yeah, all kind of so also like um get used to the trend. Don't just get um don't just get follow the trend. Just follow the trend. This one is out, check it out. This one is
Mm,
out, check it out. This one is out, check it out. I can use this, I can use that. Then you are following the trend. But then
mm,
ensure it's like you are going like this, but you're also digging deep.
mm.
So don't just go like this and you there's no root. Go like this and also dig deep. I can use this, but I understand this. I have certification on this. I'm a professional on this. So I think those people will no matter where AI take us to, those people will survive. They will survive.
Right.
So I think
I think I have. Okay, sir. Yes, you still want to say something?
no. Yeah, that's all. Yes.
Right. Thank you so much. I think I have about two more questions here. And the next question says, how can organization prepare their employees for the technological change brought by AI? Yeah, and maybe I should draw a little bit perspective to this because I think there are several organizations that are, not really adopting this AI. I remember one of my Oga, was, I mean, I don't know how many years ago, but maybe about, let me just say, about 3 years ago, to move to a multinational company who does not have something as simple as a website. All right, and they are doing business internationally. All right. So by the time it got there, that was when it started the branding, the visual aspect of the company, and brought the company to to lights on the visual aspect or on the social aspect. So, but how do you think organization can prepare their employees for technological changes brought by AI?
Eh? I think in my own opinion, I think it's exposure actually. Let them see. Most times we want to remain where we are because we've not seen what is beyond. You know, like we've not seen what is beyond. If we see what is beyond, we want to live where we are. So, um, if the barrier and the mindset can be broken down, and then people can see what is at the other side, then I think there is no limit. So it's it's a problem of the mind. So the whoever that is the head of the company, or I have a very funny, not funny, quite unfortunate. So it was in my undergraduate it was a company I worked with during internship. So I was working with a company as a radio engineer, and then during that period, I was learning programming language. And then I was the only one learning. I was just learning programming language in the company for just like I love doing that before I left campus for IT. And then I look at the way the world is going. So many times I walked to the general manager. I said, "This company is very solid now." Then we're working for many banks in Lagos. Many of the banks in Lagos. In fact, many times I've had privilege to enter many of the head offices of all banks like in Lagos. So like this connection we have, let's build a software team. Let's do this, let's do that. They're like, oh, like we want to stay put to what we have. and then like many years later, you know,
mm,
they get pushed out because those banks moved on to recent like technology. So
technology.
um,
Mm,
yeah, so the mind should, many times we want to remain where we are, want to get used to. Well, maybe if you look at Elon Musk, like that guy is never afraid of failing. Even when
yeah.
he fails, he tries again. And you know, the mindset of a leader, you know, many times the space shuttle and all that failed and all that. No, when they started the electric car and all that, like, it can't work, it can't work. And then it's now like many of the developed countries they do it at, they started with hybrid, now electric car.
Mm,
So when the leader himself can provide something like that and then breaks that barrier in the mind of the employee, then you know, expose them. Maybe like conference like this, you get just okay, send you for this conference, you know, go and see what is happening there, and they come back, oh wow, see this, see that, you know, it changed their mindset too. When their mindset change, they want to bring in those things into, you know, I don't know if I'm talking too much, so, but like, you know, if you look at, you know, we're talking about difference in our generation before we started you
right.
know, if you look at, let me take many of the university system, many of the things that the systems that are run in many of the universities, um, like back in Nigeria, like many of the universities, you know, many of the things that are still being done are just like old ways, because
Mm,
like those staffs there, the generation they came in, you know, it's that's what they are used to. So
sure.
they need to do a lot of work to break that mindset, or else that setting will never see development. So yeah,
Mm.
it's so yeah. Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you so much. And that's really true. I hope the individual that asked this question, I guess, is an organization person. I hope they will be able to implement what you've rightly said. Um, okay, so the last question I have here, I guess you already answered this, but maybe you can, tell us where maybe a course website, or how can I start? Where can I start from if I am looking at a career in AI? All right. Maybe this person is just starting from foundation, no experience, nothing, nothing. Can you just give that person where to start?
Wow, it's a it's a. I hope my response answered that particular person. So, like I said before, so where are you? So where are you? When you understand where you are, then look at people around you who have been where you want to be. Then ask them the best way to go about it. Because the thing is, you can begin to work, you can begin to do like the Israelites for 40 years, and then you not get to promised land because you are working alone. So look for those who have gone ahead. The person can reach out to me personally. On a personal note, there are a good number of people uh, I train. There are times I train people for monetary exchange. There are times I train people without any exchange for monetary. So the person can reach out. So they are okay. Like for instance, I have a learning track personally. Like I give people, okay, do this for this month, take this course for this, based on my experience. If you go and start from the middle, you get lost. You be like the Israelite.
Mm,
So wherever the person is, just get and look for someone. Even as I'm speaking, I have someone here who works with an AI company. When I'm clueless about anything and all that, in fact, he's my church member. So sometimes when I meet in church, we just bring up one topic, and I'm learning from him. He's in the industry. So just look
mm,
for someone ahead, ask the person, so you don't be like the Israelites. So locate where you are, get someone who is already where you are going, get close to them, let them show you the path to follow. So although there are a lot of resources out there, but you can end up like an Israelite if you if you if you don't if you maybe if yeah, you can end up like an Israelite. So and then it's person my case might be different. I may be wrong, so you might just be walking around like that, and by luck, just so so I think
All
I think
right,
I recommend that actually. I recommend
right, right. And I really agree with that. So if you are that person, please do well to reach out and we'll see how to move from here. Mr. Abayomi, thank you so much. This is very extensive, exhaustive presentation, questions upon questions, question upon question. Thank you so much. I really believe that a lot of people are already inspired to, take the bull by the horn and start venturing into what they need to start. All right, for those people who are looking at, okay, which career path should I go to, then I think they know what to do right now. They really, really do know what to do. And those of us that we are still in the peripheral tech, all right, the AI is coming behind us. The AI is coming behind us to come and take our client away. But I want to really, I want to really thank you for this extensive presentation. And once again, our guest for today is Abayomi Olawumi. Thank you so much. Is speaking to us directly from Japan. Thank you so much. It should be maybe around 3 p.m. Is it 3 a.m. now? It should be around
yeah,
3 a.m. your time, right?
3:30 a.m. Yeah.
3:30 a.m. in Japan. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us tonight. All right. So before I release you, sir, before I release you, I want you to just give advice to anybody listening to us, maybe somebody just chime in, and what would you tell that person when it comes to AI and technology as it relates to his personal and professional success? Over to you, sir.
Ah, okay. Yeah. I think just um dig deep and ensure you are climbing. As you are digging deep, ensure you are climbing. So um don't dig deep and you are lost in digging deep. Dig deep and then be aware of what is happening in your environment. So stay relevant, then always have a foresight, always have a foresight. And then I forgot to mention you may start learning for 3 years and you may not earn 5,000 naira. But if you know what you are doing, in years to come, like you're going to get them back. So don't be money oriented at the first. Don't be money oriented. The money might not come at the first few years. Another you may get something different to supplement, but to complement rather. So, but then as you're digging deep, be aware of your environment. So, yeah, I think it's no longer a parting words, it's a parting paragraph now. So, thank you very much for the time. I really appreciate the opportunity. I do not take it for granted at all, um, and um, and I believe that there's someone here who this discussion has been blessing to. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And to all the members of the team, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So once again, that is Mr. Abayomi Olawumi, right from Japan. Thank you once again, Mr. Abayomi Olawumi. God bless you. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we've come to the end of today's presentation. We had Mr. Abayomi Olawumi speaking to us on AI and technology, the future of success. and he shared extensively on how to choose this as your career path. All right. So if you are looking at this, it's something that, for example, if you're in secondary school, it's a very good opportunity. And maybe you're already a master's person, irrespective of wherever you are in life. All right. If you give your heart to it, you'll definitely reach success. You'll definitely reach success. Thank you once again, Mr. Bayomi. I am really excited. Thank you so much for being here. We all from the team of Life Growth International, we say thank you so much. All right, guys, we've come to the end of today's session. Tomorrow is another time. And I know a lot of people are already interested about tomorrow's session. All right. One of the time we had the most attendance is when we spoke about money. So tomorrow we are speaking about money. So we are speaking about money tomorrow. We have a financial expert that is going to talk to us about finance as a cost of success. If you really want to be successful, there is finance to it. All right, there is the financial aspect. You need to fund your career, you need to fund your success. Success comes at a financial cost. All right. So we'll be having Miss Peace Adeyemi talking to us about finance. So you don't really want to miss it. Same time, same station, tomorrow at 6 p.m. And until we meet again tomorrow by 6 p.m., let's discover, learn, and grow. Thank you, and God bless you.